Before the league was branded like a NASCAR hood, before the jersey had a sponsor stitched on the shoulder, there was a time when NBA uniforms meant something else entirely. No ads, no patches, just colors, names, and legacy. The jersey wasn't a billboard, it was a banner, a declaration of where you were from, who you played for, and what kind of player you were. The only thing stitched on your chest was your team's identity. You weren't selling soda or crypto, you were selling fear. But the league was changing, and so was the world. The NBA was becoming a business empire, more eyes, more merch, more globalization. And quietly, the jersey was about to become real estate. For decades, fans wore jerseys to rep players, to rep the city, to feel closer to greatness. But a new era was coming, where fans wouldn't just be repping their team, they'd be repping brands, and it would all start with one decision. Not made on the court, but in a boardroom. They didn't just change the jersey, they changed what it stood for. 2013, Adidas is holding the keys to the league's look, and they've got a vision, not just performance gear, not just tech materials. They wanted to revolutionize the jersey itself. Enter the sleeved jersey, half shirt, half suit, all confusion. The NBA hadn't changed its uniform shape in 50 years, and suddenly it looked like your squad was about to clock in for a shift at Target. Adidas said it was for style, said it was for fans who didn't want to show off their arms, said it was the future of performance. But players, they hated it. LeBron literally ripped his off mid-game. Steph looked like he was being strangled by polyester, and Twitter, absolute bloodbath. But here's the twist, those sleeves weren't just a fashion flop, they were a Trojan horse, a test run. Because for the first time ever, that extra fabric gave room for a logo. It was subtle, it was small, but it was strategic. This wasn't about sleeved jerseys, this was about warming fans up to the idea that brands could belong on the uniform. And even though Adidas fumbled the sleeves, the idea of selling space on the jersey, that seed was planted, and somebody else was ready to water it. Adidas' contract ended in 2017. Nike was next in line, but they weren't coming to change the look. They were coming to own the jersey and open the door for everyone else. Adidas tried to evolve the jersey. Nike made it evolve for profit. The year was 2016. The NBA's Board of Governors met in Las Vegas, and behind closed doors, a historic vote was cast. For the first time in league history, NBA teams would be allowed to sell advertising space on their jerseys. They called it a 3-year pilot program. Just a test, just a patch. Just 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. But what they really sold was tradition. It started with 19 teams. The first, Philadelphia 76ers, partnered with StubHub. That deal, $5 million per year. Then came Cleveland with Goodyear, Brooklyn with Infor, Boston with GE, Golden State with Rakuten. Within a year, the going rate for a patch deal, $15 to $20 million annually. And by 2020, every single team had a patch sponsor. They said it was no different than soccer. They said it was modern. They said it would unlock value. But something else was unlocked. The jersey, once a symbol of pride and city loyalty, was now real estate, auctioned off to the highest bidder. And the patch, it was never meant to stay small. Fans started asking, what's next? Logos on the shorts? Logos on the headbands? But the money was too good. The league was too deep. The NBA had crossed the line, and there was no turning back. They didn't just sell a patch, they sold a piece of the game. 2017, the Nike swoosh officially replaces Adidas on every NBA jersey. It was more than just a logo shift, it was a cultural takeover. For the first time ever, the NBA jersey became a runway piece. Nike didn't just bring the patch, they brought the catalog. No more home and away uniforms. Now you had Association Edition, Icon Edition, Statement Edition, and most explosively, City Edition. These weren't just uniforms, they were marketing missiles. Custom fonts, regional colors, streetwear aesthetics straight out of Soho and Fairfax. And behind it all, a strategy built to dominate Gen Z, drop limited editions, create scarcity, make the jersey the player. The city jerseys weren't just flying, they were reshaping how fans saw the game. You weren't buying your team's jersey, you were buying your neighborhood's attitude. Meanwhile, that 2.5-inch patch, still there, still cashing checks. The Nike swoosh on the right, sponsor logo on the left. Your team's identity somewhere in the middle. It was all part of the plan, a full-on rebrand of how basketball looked, felt, and sold. Nike didn't just stitch a logo on the jersey, they stitched the culture into it. Once upon a time, you wore a jersey to rep your favorite player. Jordan, Iverson, Shaq. It was fandom. But now, it's branding. The age of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. The jersey became currency. You weren't just repping your team anymore, you were curating your aesthetic. Suddenly, it mattered what jersey you wore, which edition, which drop. Whether it had PayPal, Rakuten, or Coinbase stitched into the chest. The patch wasn't just a sponsor, it was a signal. Every colorway told a story, every drop was a flex. Nike turned uniforms into uniformity. Streetwear kids in New York wearing Memphis City edition. LA Hoopers in Milwaukee Cream City fits. Because the league had done something genius. They didn't just sell jerseys, they sold belonging. In a world where attention spans are short, where clout is the new currency, the NBA found a way to embed itself into your identity. It's no longer, what team do you like? It's, what drop are you wearing? And just like that, the patch became personal. The modern jersey isn't just worn, it's performed. First it was the jersey, then the court. Now, everything's for sale. Welcome to 2025, where your favorite team's heart might be stitched right next to a fintech app. The jersey's patch was just the beginning. There's talk of ad patches on shorts, augmented reality sponsorships in the metaverse. Some execs have even floated NFT-linked jerseys, with real-time bidding based on in-game moments. And every step of the way, the question stays the same. Where does the game end and the business begin? The league says it's about growing the brand, but what happens when the brand outgrows the ball? Some say it's evolution, others say it's a slow extinction of what the game used to be. Will the NBA Finals jersey one day feature a crypto casino patch? Will future All-Star games have more logos than layups? Or worse, what if fans stop caring who wins and only care what drops next? It started as just a patch, just a pilot, just a test. But now, it's the new face of the league. The jersey was once sacred, now it's sponsored, and the next patch might not just change the uniform, it might change the game itself.